Hey everyone, welcome back to Liftoff with Jeanniey Walden, the show that helps you have a path to success at work and at home. I'm your host, Jeanniey Walden, but you already knew that. What you don't know is who my first guest is. So let's start the show with something wonderful. In fact, not just something wonderful, someone. Here today on Liftoff, we have the honor to chat with Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary is the chairman of O'Leary Ventures and Beanstalks and star of ABC Shark Tank. If you didn't see that Halloween episode, Sharkoween, you missed probably the greatest episode on Shark Tank, not to be beat by what's going to come up in future episodes of Shark Tank, so keep watching. Mr. Wonderful, we are so thrilled to have you out of that cape and on Liftoff, not as a bat, but as a real person.
Thank you very much, Jeannie.
So, Mr. Wonderful, I'm an entrepreneur, or at least I like to think that I am. I've had 5 or 6 businesses. Some went great, some failed. You learn all the time. I'd be remiss if I didn't use this chance to get all of the value out of this conversation. So I have many questions for you. You've seen it all, you've done it all, well, almost. You were even a bat. But in your perspective, what are the top traits that make a successful entrepreneur?
So the real key is executional excellence, because great ideas are a dime a dozen. Can you execute? And so my great managers, my great CEOs, the people I invest in as entrepreneurs are able to differentiate the signal from the noise. And what I mean about that is they set goals, they are myopically focused on those goals, and they execute on them. And they don't let all the other noise in a busy world today with all the social media and everything else, they don't let that get in the way. And those are the great men and women that deliver the promise of actually building businesses. So executional skills are everything. And that's what I always say to my classes. I'm here in Boston teaching at Harvard. I say exactly the same thing I'm talking to you about, Jeannie. Differentiate the signal from the noise. Understand the difference. And if you can do that, you'll be a great entrepreneur.
So while you're building these businesses, do you really believe that there is such a thing anymore as work-life balance? Do you think it's become work-life blend? Do you think it was always a work-life blend, or do you just put it all together? What's your thoughts on that?
There is no work-life balance for an entrepreneur. It's about 1/3 of the economy. You know, small business represents 60% of jobs in America, and those people started businesses, first generation, second generation family businesses, between 5 and 500 employees. That is our economy. That's 60% of our economy. You ask any of them, Jeannie, any of them, did you ever have a balanced life in the early years? And they'll tell you they worked 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, but they achieved personal freedom for themselves and their families. And that is why I tell people, get over this balance thing. You're not going to have it. There won't be any soccer games on Sunday. However, later, maybe it takes 10, 15 years, you'll be very happy with the outcome if you're successful. Even if you don't succeed on the first time, keep trying. I would not trade my life, and I work harder today than I ever have, and I love what I do. I spend every minute supporting entrepreneurs, investing in them. I love it. And I am a vampire. I'm never going to die. And I'm just going to keep doing this. I'll be on Shark Tank for 218 years.
Well, that's a short life and a vampire. We're going to keep feeding you that wine so that you stay long, around for 2,000 years, 2 billion years. You got to catch up with the radio sounds that were just reported from 8 billion years ago. It has been so wonderful having you on the show. To close out, if you had to leave our viewers with one tip, how to get even close to the point of financial freedom, personal success at your level, what would that be? Just get started?
Don't pursue money for the greed of it. Pursue your passion. Find something you love that you're willing to get up in the morning at 5 a.m. and just work and work and work. The American dream is out there for everybody. It's never that easy, but you can get there. And don't worry about failure. Take the first step. I always say that. Take the first step, the second step, the third step, and watch where you go.
Such great advice. And that's what we're doing with this show. So thank you so much, Kevin. Great to have you on. Come back anytime, whether you're dressed in your vampire cape or not. We love to have you on the show.
Thank you, Jeannie. I've had a wonderful time with you. Take care.
You too. And for everybody watching, stay tuned. I don't know if our guests are going to be as wonderful as Mr. Wonderful, but we do have some great guests coming up after the break. We are back in the kitchen with a great friend of the show. You know it. I know it. We all want simple but delicious meals to feed our busy lives. So Chef George Duran has joined us once again with some recipes for a fabulous fall season. Welcome back, Chef.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
What are we going to do here? I'm so excited. There's drinks, there's food. It looks like you're going to put me to work.
Yeah, I mean, it's fall season. And for
Yes.
me, that means all the flavors of fall that you kind of think of. So a lot of people here on the East Coast go apple picking. Apples are a big thing right now. So I want to focus a lot on the flavors of fall between apples, pumpkins, mulled flavors. So I have a lot of recipes to kind of go through over here.
Well, there's a lot of stuff here. So let's be inspired. The apples are so good.
Yeah, well, you like apples. And let me tell you something. People
You
go
like
out apple
apples?
picking. Oh, my goodness. Our family loves different kinds of apples, tart, sweet
Yes.
combinations. And the one thing I tell people is that you can entertain with apples. And today we're going to be actually using mighty sesame tahini to make this incredible apple dip. So I have some yogurt in this bowl, and you're going to help me out here a little bit. We're going to start with a mighty sesame tahini. It's the only tahini that I know of that is actually squeezable. Almost like, think of it like a condiment where you can actually flip it open and literally pop it in. So in that yogurt is going to come some of that mighty sesame tahini. You see how creamy, beautiful?
Yeah.
That's organic sesame right there. And all you're going to do is start whisking it for me. Go ahead, Jeannie. Start whisking it up. And we're going to add a little bit of some of that yogurt is already in there. A little bit of orange juice that I've squeezed. Is a blood orange. I like it nice and dark and beautiful. And in that, we're going to sweeten it with a little maple syrup in there. A little bit of cinnamon. These are pretty much standard ingredients that we have at home. And you should have the mighty sesame at home too.
And I love the way you measure. A little bit of this, a pinch of that.
At a certain
It's like my
point, you
Italian
become
grandma.
a dad. Exactly. I'm a grandpa, so to speak. Now you add a little bit of water just to make sure it's nice and creamy to your consistency.
Love
Keep
it.
whisking around there. And when you're done, you're going to be getting this incredible, beautiful, creamy tahini dip that
Very
goes with
true.
apples. Now, Jeannie, grab any of your favorite apples. We have the opals. We have
I'm
the
going to
honey
start with
crisp,
some.
the Granny Smith. That's
Red
the
one.
honey crisp. Perfect.
Yes.
Go ahead and dip that in there and take a bite.
Ready?
You
Here we go.
serve this in your next big party during the fall season. Sweet, nutty, delicious,
Oh my God.
creamy.
Okay.
That's special, right?
You're going to have to stop taping because this is so good. I'm just going to stand here and eat.
Don't stop taping because we have a lot more to focus over
Oh my
here.
gosh.
I love mulled wine, but I can't get my kids to drink mulled wine for obvious reasons. But I found this incredible juice over here. It's called Wonder Beet. They're part of their Wonder Juice line, so they have more than just Wonder Beet. But you're getting all the nutritional benefits of beets inside of this juice. They were known as beetology before. Now they're Wonder Beet. And it's not like you're just having beet juice. There's a lot more than that. In this case, there's beet, lemon, and ginger inside of it. And all I'm doing is just like mulled wine, you're going to add a little bit inside of a pot, star anise, allspice, cinnamon, even some orange peel in there. You're going to grab a little bit of this and pass it through a fine sieve because you don't want to eat any of that anise
Right.
seed or any of that stuff. Just go ahead and do that. I'm going to give you a little bit of a sip over here to taste and tell me that's not the flavors of fall. All of it concentrated, just a little bit in there. It's a little bit warm.
Okay.
It's going to warm up a little. You're going to start sweating inside the studio a little bit, but that's the whole point.
It smells so good.
Isn't
it
that
smells like
wonderful?
fall.
The leftovers that you have Thanksgiving, people try to get creative with it, making sandwiches and so on. I figured out how to make leftover soup with it. And what I do is I take the stuffing, I mix it with some matzo meal, and I make like a matzo meal stuffing soup. And the one ingredient that I always go home with is Duroc Gardens. And these guys are frozen cubes of herbs, in this case, garlic. You even have ginger. And all you do is you pop it open and you pretty much pop out the garlic clove. Each one of these is a chopped up garlic. And you literally just pop it out and out comes a piece of garlic inside of your stew. And in this case, my herbed leftover Thanksgiving meal that I've turned into a soup, something warm and delicious with still the flavors of Thanksgiving incorporated inside of it.
This all looks wonderful, Chef.
Thank you.
Promise us you'll come back in the winter.
Promise me you'll come over for the spring.
Absolutely. Done.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this. But now you've got to go take a break because I've got to eat all this food and drink some of this. Come on the show, be a guest, and we'll share some of this with you next time the chef's back. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you know me, you know I love great shoes and high ones. But after a million years of wearing 4-inch heels or higher, my feet can be sore, cracked, a whole bunch of other problems. And that is exactly why we've asked Whitney Kopp to join us today. Whitney Kopp is a senior brand manager for Kerasal and is a career consumer brand marketing leader. And I love that. Welcome to Liftoff, Whitney.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on the show because I have seen Kerasal in stores for a million years, and I've always wanted to try it, but I was always wondering why it's so amazing. So tell us about this brand.
Absolutely. So Kerasal is a leading foot care brand that makes products for all sorts of foot challenges, whether it's dry, cracked heels, whether it's damaged nails. Kerasal is your brand. It's all about efficacy with us, and our products deliver incredible results very quickly. Our intensive foot repair, for example, you'll see visible results after just one night, which is pretty incredible.
So, as soon as the show's over, I'm going to be using this and making my feet feel a lot better because I've been walking around New York City all day and then walking back and forth in the studio. But for people that want to have healthy feet easily from their homes, what are the star products that you recommend that they try?
Absolutely. There's a couple that are really great products. I like to think of it as a little bit of a DIY home experience. So our Kerasal foot soak, which we have with us today, is phenomenal just for soothing your feet, softening them up a little bit. You put it in a little bit of water, a really nice, relaxing spa-like experience. And then depending on your needs, we have a great intensive foot repair peel, as well as a mask. So if you need a little bit more exfoliation, or you need a little bit more moisturization, you can customize a bit there. And then finally, I'd top it off with our intensive foot repair, which goes on and really helps to exfoliate and moisturize your feet in just one really easy step.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Now, in addition to making your feet feel better, I imagine there's health benefits with taking good care of your feet too, right?
Yeah, your feet are so important. They get you from point A to point B, and when they get cracked and dry, it can be not only unsightly, but also really uncomfortable. So especially as we get into the winter season, it's just so important to proactively think about your feet and take care of them.
And this is something you do at home. What's the difference between taking care of your feet at home and, say, going to get a pedicure?
I think this is a great option for in between. So you may get pedicures every so often and have a schedule. This is really, our products are really great for kind of that in between and helping keep your feet really smooth. It's also an affordable way to kind of just have your own at-home pedicure experience and grab a couple products, be able to customize them. And what I love is, if we're coming up on the holiday season, these are great products to give to those people in your life who need a little pampering and you want to give a little treat to. It's a perfect stocking stuffer for the holiday season.
So I'm picturing, when my girls are home, we go and buy the animal face mask, and we have girls spa
Yes.
night, and we pull my husband Vince into it too, so he looks like a little tiger. But now we can have those on our faces and our feet.
Yes.
And we can have the whole spa experience.
Exactly. Kick your feet up, put them up on pillows. We've got little masks, little booties that tie on, and you put them on for half an hour, and it'll just add to the whole experience.
Awesome. This show is about finding success at home and at work. So this definitely will make you feel better. Also probably sets you up for success in any venue, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Whitney, thanks so much for being on the show. Can't wait to try out Kerasal.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. That was super informative. So much fun. And now we're having a big spa night at my house. So get ready for the spa night. But in the meantime, keep watching because we've got some more great guests after the break. I am so excited to welcome our next guest back to the show. Besides being a face we know and love from film, TV, and a previous episode of Liftoff, Golden Globe, Emmy nominee, and environmentalist Ed Begley Jr. is right here with us again, this time sharing personal and business insights from his life and his new book. Welcome back to Liftoff, Ed.
Jeannie, thank you so much for having me on again.
And it is so good to see you again. And we now are celebrating the fact that you've added author to your tremendous list of accomplishments. Tell us, we want to know what motivated you to sit down and write this book after so many years.
I'm probably not the first person in America or the world whose daughter or son or grandchild came up to me and said, I want to record something on my phone. Tell me the stories about your grandparents coming over from Ireland, and tell me a bit about your father's growing up here, and tell me a little bit about your life, your life, Dad, before they had movable type and talkies. Tell me what that was like. So we started to do that, but then she wasn't busy every minute of every day. So I thought, I got to take some notes for her on my computer, so she'll have this to add when she transcribes what she got from her cell phone. And that's when it happened, Jeannie. The keyboard became like a Ouija board that actually worked. It started to take me to all these different parts of memory of my, like a house full of memories up to the attic and down the basement of my mind to these different things I haven't thought of in 30, 40, 50 years sometimes. And it was just great for me to write down just for my kids and grandkids. Pretty soon somebody looked in and went, wait a minute, I think that's a book. I think you have a book in your hands. You just don't know it yet. So I submitted it to an agent.
You know, what I love about your book is that you are brutally honest and critical about the choices you made early in your life. Especially, you talk about choices made while under the influence of mood-altering substances. People would not be as brave as you to talk about that. Were you hesitant to share what seems so personal and introspective about yourself in the book?
I was not. I wanted to talk about it openly and freely because it's something I've dealt with from a very young age. I had a certain amount of pain as a young person growing up. We all do, and emotional pain I'm talking about. And so I decided to numb that by stealing some sleeping pills from the medicine chest. And so that was the first way I started to numb things out. Then I started to smoke pot in excess and smoke a lot of pot. I was kind of numbed out and zoned out from that. And then I started drinking a quart of vodka every day. I built up to it, but pretty quick, I was drinking a quart of vodka every day. And so that was it. I would take anything that I could to alter my mood. And I'm one of those people that thinks before it started to kill me, drugs and alcohol, it actually saved me because I was such an emotional wreck. I didn't do the kind of work one needs to do to solve these problems, to begin to solve these problems through therapy and self-reflection and other means of meditation. So I'm very grateful that I got well on all those fronts.
Yeah, well, there, like I said earlier, there's so many people that live through things like that. And for the good and bad, it helps shape who they are, but they often don't talk about it. So tremendous kudos to you for just sharing that, because I think it makes so many people encouraged that they can get through everything that they're dealing with and end up being good, fine, successful, have a family and have a future just like you do. And so your book is filled with so many great stories, including the first time that you met John Lennon and Yoko Ono. You got to tell the viewers a little bit about that chapter, but not too much because I want everyone to read the book.
Harry Nilsson gave me many, many gifts. He was a great singer, songwriter, a great friend. Taught me the great trick. It's a math trick where you can tell what date in a year, what day of the week it is. He taught me that wonderful math trick. He introduced me to Eric Idle and the Monty Python gang. And then one day he said, we're going to have dinner with some friends tonight. We'll pick you up. You want to join us? I said, sure. Joined Una and Harry Nilsson and went to the Dakota Hotel. Then I started to think the wheels were turning. Went, the Dakota, this is 1975. It couldn't be. No, he wouldn't just go up to that apartment, would he? He goes up there and they're opening the door themselves as John and Yoko. Hello, coming in. How are you? I know you. Do I know you? He said, pointing at me. I'm trying to keep my face from crystallizing and, cracking and falling to the floor. So John Lennon's trying to see if he knows me. And I saw about halfway through the evening went, oh my God, Nettie Hartman, Yoko, it's a deaf mute from Nettie Hartman. And he was like a fan with me. What's Louise Lasser like? Tell me about that. Norman Lear, he's wonderful. And on and on. And he was just this wonderful, seemed to be normal guy. There was anything but. He was a great genius one of the greatest geniuses I've ever met in my life. And but he wanted to be treated like a normal guy, and he acted like a normal guy. It was just amazing.
Well, you're such a Hollywood icon, and it was such a pleasure having you on Liftoff. Again, come back anytime. And for everybody watching, you've got to read this book.
Thank you, Jeannie.
All right, everybody, go get the book. And in between, sit down and watch the rest of the show. We'll be right back. Here we go, everybody. Let's talk about plastic surgery. Procedures from a plastic surgeon are getting more and more common, from small nips and tucks to feel better about aging to complete transformations. Whatever you choose, it is so crucial to choose the right doctor to do it. Our next guest, Dr. Adam J. Rubinstein, is a board-certified, award-winning plastic surgeon whose skills are sought out by patients from around the world. He's here to talk to us about the trends and important things to consider when choosing a plastic surgeon. We are so happy to have you on Liftoff, Doctor. I have a lot of questions for you.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about your practice and your voice as a patient advocate.
I think to me, they're one and the same. Being a doctor means you should always be advocating for your patients, but I try and do it in a broader sense. I'm really active in trying to educate patients, trying to educate people so that they know what the real story is in everything that I do, all the cosmetic surgery and procedures and products that we deal with. You know, the most important thing begins with board certification, and not just any board certification, certification by the American Board of Plastic Surgery, which is the only board that certifies plastic surgeons in the United States. That is the place to start. And easy way to do that is go to a website called certificationmatters.org, and you can look up any doctor in the United States.
So you recently launched a new series on your social media platform called Naked Beauty TV. It's a behind the scenes look at plastic surgery. Tell us about why you wanted to create that and what you felt was important for people to know.
It's something I've been working on for years. The idea behind Naked Beauty is that we're going to show you exactly what you said, behind the scenes. We're going to show you everything behind the curtain. Of course, you'll see the kind of stuff people want to see. Our patient stories, people going through real procedures, having real surgery done. And we're going to show you a lot of the stuff that's behind the scenes of that. So in our first episode, we talk about someone who's having a breast augmentation, and she talks about why she's having it. We kind of show a little bit of her personal story, and we're going to take you where they make breast implants. So we show you exactly how those breast implants get made and how they find their way into my office.
You are always on the cutting edge, and I love that about you. You're always doing new trending procedures, including Elicor. What are some of the training procedures that you do to get ready for it? And who is Elicor appropriate for?
Well, Elicor is really exciting. This is a new technology that is, the concept here is that when we do surgery, like if I do a facelift, I'm going to make incisions around the side of the face. We're going to keep it hidden around the ear. It can be very discreet. And what we're doing is kind of lifting up all the skin, redraping it, and then we're going to be trimming off a piece of skin. So there'll be a small piece of skin that we remove that is excess, and we tighten it up. Well, this is a pretty ingenious way to take out extra skin without making any incisions. It's called fractional coring. Coring is kind of what it sounds like. It's tiny little circular needles that will punch into the skin, and they're hollow. So the diameter of the needle is the amount of skin being removed. It punches in and pulls out that tiny little circular bit of skin. And it's got an array of needles, and those needles are kind of like a sewing machine going in and out in different areas, and each time pulling out this tiny, tiny little bit of skin. And those microcores represent as much as 8% of the area that you've been working on. So if you can take anywhere from, say, 3, 4, up to 8% of surface area with no incision, you're going to get a little bit of tightening of that skin. You'll get contraction, and you're removing some of the excess skin with no incisions, less downtime than an operation would give you, and pretty nice results.
Amazing. Thank you so much for all that information. It was great having you on Liftoff.
My pleasure. Happy to come back anytime. Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned, because we're going to keep giving you more information and insights with our next guest. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you are not talking or hearing about AI, you are probably the only one. Maybe there's an AI bot talking about you right now. AI conversations are everywhere you turn. Business, school, social media, you name it. It's the hottest topic out there right now. And we are so lucky to have Brian Fowler, who is the president and CEO of Security First International Holdings. He's here today to share some very important AI info. Welcome to Liftoff, Brian.
Thanks for having me, Jeannie.
All right, Brian. Well, first of all, tell me and our viewers about your company, Security First International Holdings, and your amazing background.
So Security First International Holdings is a technology incubator. So we develop technologies in emerging markets. And if there's an opportunity for us to implement the technology, we accelerate the technology into the actual market. That's basically the genesis of what we do. And right now we've been focused on AI and integrating AI with the blockchain. So we're taking these newer technologies, merging them, and helping the consumers understand how to utilize them.
That's awesome. And there's so many different use cases for AI these days, but you just launched OptoBiz AI. Tell us about that software program and what it does for businesses and for people.
So it's a software program that allows people to actually understand how to prompt AI. For AI to work for you, you have to know how to have AI prompted correctly so it returns the information accurately that you're looking for. So people right now, just because it's new, they really haven't familiarized themselves with how to prompt the AI to get the best performance. So OptoBiz is a network of prompt engineers that help consumers and help anyone that's trying to understand how to prompt AI correctly so they can start to perform better with AI. So AI becomes a stronger tool for them.
And you use something called a utility token. What is that?
So we use the token to compensate our engineers, and the token is actually on the blockchain, and the token was created by AI. So we knew how to prompt the AI to actually create the smart contracts that put the actual token on the blockchain. So that's some of the things that we're learning as we go in our own business and how to utilize it in our business. So the token is just a utility for people to be able to access our network of engineers.
Tell us what kinds of things that businesses are using it for today, or what kind of services it's appropriate for.
Well, right now, so AI, there's a lot of different applications for it. A lot of companies or businesses that have a lot of documentation, it speeds up the production of the documentation. It still needs to be humanly reviewed, but it helps companies get that documentation out quicker. So the actual process of getting the job done becomes that much more faster because of AI. Like we said, right now, we're in the process of actually tokenizing intellectual property. So we're in the process of tokenizing patents, and the AI is the one doing all the work for us on the tokenization and creating the documents that are required for us to secure the rights to a patent and then tokenize the patent and then put the patent on the blockchain. So the AI is handling all of that for us. We review, but we utilize AI for that majority of the work.
Wow. I think about all the hours and time that used to go into something like that and the security gaps and leaks. And it sounds like you've taken care of all of that, like a virtual assistant on steroids.
Pretty much that, and that's what it's come. And then if you can dream up the project and it's a digital project, the AI can help you right through that project. And again, it comes down to how you prompt the AI to help you get what you need for your project. But once you have an understanding of your project and you completely understand your project, you can prompt the AI to do all the work for you. You just need to have that solid understanding of what you're trying to accomplish.
Very cool, very innovative, and very timely. Brian, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Jeannie.
And that is it for us on Liftoff. I hope you learned something or many things that can help you improve your life, your business, and your outlook. Be sure to follow us on social and tell us all about what you want to see more of. And by the way, I'm going back to find Chef Duran. See you next time.
The proceeding was sponsored by Liftoff Enterprises, LLC.